Welcome back to Tenacious Trading Group. This is my protected low. This is currently the week high. We might have something else, but that's currently the week high. We've closed above this previous higher high, and now obviously price is clearly bullish. Bearing in mind I am on my 1 hour chart, you can say that we have SPS model 1, where that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially, and hoping that price obviously takes out the high. When I head over to my 5-minute chart, we can see that price is also bullish. We have come back to retest the SMA. You can say that we are facilitating a what's it called, higher time from SBS, but essentially that could be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm drawing out of what's it called, a zone from this low to this high. We have tapped the 618 quite a long time ago. Could have been in a little bit of drawdown depending on how you see the markets. Tap this on me to get a move origin, and obviously now we're hoping that price takes out our previous higher high. So when we let price play out, we can see that happen. So again, for those of you asking, what could I have used as my entry confirmation? So what you could have used would have been the 618 limit based off your 5-minute time frame, where obviously you get the fixed 1.6R. You could have gone down to a lower time frame such as the 1 minute, and then you could have looked for potential flips. So based on your 1 minute time frame, you can see that what did price do? Price was making lower lows and lower highs, and technically at one point this was a protected high, and then this was a weak low. So if we just go back 1 second, give me a minute. Let me just remove that quickly. So let me just turn off my, okay, perfect. So we can see that internally we had this MSB, market structure shift, or whatever you want to call it, break of structure, don't really care. And you can see internally that we had SPS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just remove this one for now. However, the minute I turn on my SMA, I can see that price is actually below my SMA. So this does make sense. We have tapped this on me to get a move origin here. And then you can see how price disrespects this on me to get a move origin. But let me just double check. Yeah, so price failed to even give us a 1-to-1. So in this case here, I now know that this protected high has now been violated. So now if I want to now start looking for potential longs, now that we're getting above the SMA, I can do so. Too many people, again, they go to the 5-minute chart, they see something that they like, then they just enter. Or they go to the 1-minute chart, they see, and then instead of waiting for price to actually flip, they're now looking for an IB, they're now looking for CSS, and then sometimes when they get cooked, they can't understand why they've been cooked. Flips are the most safest and the most easiest thing to look for, and then you can start looking for potential trades in continuation with your higher time frame. So we can see that price doesn't pull back, and sometimes these things are going to happen, but if we're now looking at potentially a higher time frame zone, then I can say that this is potentially SBS model 1, where now this is my 1, this is the 2, this is the 3, this is the 4, this is the 5, and you can now see how price is above the SMAs. Price is now technically bullish because we are now taking out previous higher highs. And then obviously when you go over to your 5-minute chart, you can see where we are within price. And then what happens? We end up taking out our previous higher high, which is this one here. So when we go back to our 1-minute time frame, if you know how to take a trade, within this, then it would have been a lovely day for you. Again, if I'm now being more technical, we took out this low, we took out this low, failed to make new lower lows. We ended up taking out this high. Within this high, what did we end up doing? We ended up having an SBS where potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and obviously price again, like I said, takes up the higher high, and all we're doing is just using the SBS model 1, helping us take this trade higher. And because this zone has not really been tapped into, as you guys can see for yourself, now what are we doing? We are now facilitating a higher time frame. So now we have a big SPS, so that's my 1, that's my 2, that's my 3, that's the 4, that's the 5. And then when you go to our lower time frame again, we look for the same things as I always say. Again, what have we been doing? We took out this low, so technically we need to take out this high before we can start looking for a trade. However, if I understand that this is my weak low, that price technically wants to run, and this is the protected high, everything's kind of just internal structure. So technically what we've been doing now, we've been taking out previous higher highs. So internally I can see that price is pulling back, and now also the SMAs are also bullish. So if I want to look for potential longs, I can. And let's see what happens. And then do we end up taking a low? So we don't quite end up taking a low yet, but let's see what happens. We're now below the SMA, so wouldn't be able to take this trade yet. And we've gone way past my trading time, but can you see how by me just waiting for the proper flip of this high, I will potentially save myself, instead of me just trying to always look for that internal structure within here. Because remember, all of this is just on the lower time frame, and the lower time frame you go, the worse is not a word. So that's a mind worse. The lower time frame you go, there's a higher chance the setup's going to be weaker, just due to price switching very quickly. But that's it for... Oh wait, let me go into Friday now. I need to do Friday. One sec, guys. So going into Friday now, we are still within this zone here, and within this zone we're just trading from this weak high, and we're trading from this protected low. So everything inside of just this internal structure. And if I just mark out my things for you guys, we took out this low internally, we took out this low internally, and then we ended up taking out this high internally. So now not only is price bullish externally, but also now price is bullish internally. So if I now want, and the SMAs are now in line, so now if I want to start looking for longs, I can. And then you guys can see for yourself, obviously we've had this market structure break, we've had our SBS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not the greatest one, but if I was just to narrow things down for you, what have you tapped into? This unmitigated move origin. And see how things work out. We tapped into this unmitigated move origin, and what's happened? Price bounced from it. We started to reject bearish order flow. We started to get above the SMAs, and you can see how now we have taken out our previous higher high. And again, if I go down to my 1 minute chart, that flip happened a long time ago. So we ended up taking out this low here, we took out this high there, we ended up taking out this high there. So now you could look for something within this structure here to help you take the trade higher. We ended up taking out this high here. You can now look for something within this structure here to help you take this trade higher. We've now taken out this high here as well, pulled back. You could look for something within here to take the trade higher. We take out this high, you could look for something within here to take this trade higher. So you can see how just by following the structure and following the SMAs, trying to take conjunction trades with your higher time frame. Now, all of these small little moves are still moves that can help you catch winners, guys. And obviously, it's just 3 o'clock, so we'll let price play out, and then voila, there you go. And even in this situation here, what did we end up doing? We ended up entertaining this zone here, where now that's the 1, that's the 2, that's the 3, that's the 4, that's the 5. Price pushes up. If I go down to my 1 minute time frame, we can see price got below the SMAs, and now we are back above. But again, remember, whatever time frame you're on, you got to follow the SMA based on that time frame. But in this case here, 1 minute doesn't look that great. It would have to be the 5 minute. And what did we end up doing? We ended up tapping into this area of supply and demand. So can you see how everything is just intertwined? Once you put the puzzles together, everything is just intertwined, and then yeah, that's it for NQ for Thursday and Friday. Price was bullish internally. Yes, price was bearish, so you could have looked for the shorts. Overall, price was bullish, because if I head over to the 1 hour time frame, you guys can see that for yourself. Price has been bullish, and also with how news played out on Wednesday, news was here, this area here, so took out a lot of people's liquidity, used that as liquidity, helped us fill the markets. Even here, I think we had a little bit of news, took out some liquidity, and what's happened now? Price has now taken out our previous high. So when you follow structure, you follow the SMAs, you follow SBS, you follow price. Like I always say, victory will always belong to you. And like I always say, victory belongs to the most tenacious. Whether you're on the world, I'm wishing you guys a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, and a good night. And I'll see you lots on Monday. Peace.